All right, ladies and gentlemen, today was crazy, and there's a real specific reason why the stock market dropped. But if you were on stream, you probably heard a bunch of the other reasons why that I talked about. Nonetheless, as you see here, there is a big thing related to what we are coming around the corner for with trade, and it explains exactly why the stock market dropped today. So I'm going to cover all that stuff. You were coming into the weekend. We don't got the watch list, but we are going to post that here on Sunday, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys drop your thumbs up on the video. But now do me a favor here, comment below what tutorial you guys want me to post tomorrow, or if you have a video suggestion, this and that. I want to hear from you guys. I have a few ideas. I'm gonna post some anyways, or maybe we get a few more videos, I don't know, but let me hear from you guys. But I do want to talk about, more so what happened with the market, but more importantly, what happened here with this whole White House deliberates blocking all U.S. investments in China. Now, that is what happened today. The stock market came down, and we could say, oh, we talked about it on the watch list, this and that. It wasn't about predicting it. I said, depending on what happened today, it is going to either give us a signal coming into this next week, and even the week after that with the whole trade war and the trade talks beginning, or it would signal something positive. So the fact that we closed down here was negative, and then the piece of news, and honestly, it was crazy. I'm going to go through the replay. It's on this channel. You could see when this hit, just 6 minutes after the European close, stock started to drop, and the gap down on this was literally a gap down intraday. The liquidity was pretty awful, and that's what made me kind of panicky, but we still executed on the same strategy we talked about. But the news was that there was reports that the White House was deliberating blocking all of the U.S. investment in China. So some say White House weighs limits on U.S. portfolio flows. This is part of it, and a big headline that came up even shortly after was that they were even talking about delisting Chinese companies from the U.S. stock market. This is huge. So that's what I want to talk about here, because even this news in general for what this means, because when you put it into perspective here, it's originated from Bloomberg, and a lot of people did it. They pretty much said sources in the White House. So that's the first thing that needs to be discussed here. Even though it caused this big move, and again, coming back to here, it caused this big move down. And we did close only 70 points, though. At one point, we were only down 150, but we were up 150. So it was like a 300-point turnaround trip. But at the end of the day, too, it had other implications of what was really happening here. And again, it took us back to what we were talking about, the whole impeachment zone. This was right when the impeachment stuff started, and right below, and that's what I was worried about. We dropped below, and then we fell, what did you know, right back into it. So this is telling me something, again, with the politics and everything behind it. I still think that has stuff come into play. But again, talking about this stuff right here, what was going on? I will attach this link in the description. But the whole fact is, this is simply discussions by the administration. This was brought up, even the report discusses, it was one of the bigger trade hawks, one of the economic advisors, Peter Navarro. His idea was to do this, and now even senators like Mark Rubio and people from a lot of people in general, they've talked about this idea before. So here's the thing. This isn't new. The fact is, and what some people are even hinting at, is that this has been brought up ahead of time. Or maybe it got leaked, or who knows. But the whole point is, this is being brought up as a potential option they're going to weigh. Or again, even China responded already, saying they're not going to respond to threats. This could even be a threat by Trump, but they're saying that this is essentially going to come up here. This is going to be used at the deal to say, hey, if there isn't a deal now, at any time with these Trump trade talks, if you guys even want to go back towards April, when all of this stuff, it was dropping, and then we came back up. But then what led to this? It's because every single time Trump ups the ante. So he said, okay, the market drops. They said, no, we're going to talk. But then once a deal doesn't get worked out, a worse deal happens. So now this is going to be something that they are going to bring up, and they're going to say, now this time, if there is a no deal on the October talks, then we might see this come to fruition, where they start to say, well, no deal, we're going to delist all your companies then. There's not only that, and that's really what I want to talk about. It goes beyond just having companies delisted, and this is why I really think you guys should read through this, because it talks about stuff, again, like the MSCI, and how hundreds of Chinese businesses have been added to the MSCI, and then you have literally U.S. firms buying into China. And beyond that, you have retirement funds, and retirements and even pensions, and that gets a little weird that they're buying it. And then even the numbers here, you could see all of the market caps of the companies that are on the Chinese, but on the U.S. exchange. it equals to somewhere around like $1.2 trillion, I believe. And even earlier, I think at the beginning of the year here too, the China, I think earlier in September, at the beginning of September or before that, China just went back on a law to pretty much, they restricted limitations on U.S. investments in Chinese equities. It was like $300 billion to attract more capital. So these are parts of the segment here. And again, this is what I was saying, how it talks about a supportive move where literally you're getting a lot of people do support this move. And this is what I was saying. This has been brought up in the past. This has been brought up as a concern because, again, even Jim Cramer said he supports this because some people have said Chinese companies are scams and people don't like it. And they say people only lose on them in general. Why would we even support that? To begin with, this was even the issue with Alibaba. And even as you see here, look at Alibaba's market cap. This is $459 billion. This is no joke. This isn't a small company. And that's why, too, I want them up here. You can see Baidu is one of them, but Alibaba is huge. And now I want to play them. This is something I'm going to be watching here over the next few weeks. Man, that's crazy. It's been 5 years since they came out. But again, this is a big company, and there's a lot of the market cap. And now it could come down. But moving forward with this, what I want to watch for is how this plays over the weekend, what people say about it, as well as if there is any further actions. But again, this is sending a negative signal for how the trade talks are going to go, but it doesn't mean that the market has to go down on it, and we're staying in that range. But if it does develop negatively, I think Alibaba is going to be the main play. The most hawkish piece of news from all of this is what happens if these companies get delisted. What happens if they get rid of Alibaba, JD, Pinduoduo, and again, I think the collective amount is $1.2 trillion. That would technically get delisted from the exchange, but it doesn't mean they go down to zero. And now when it comes to trading and options, that is going to be a difficult scenario. But again, in general, this is adding to the whole thing we're seeing with the SPY and all of that. There's a lot of uncertainty being created. But now if you have to pretty much answer the question, if they do delist it, where is $1.2 trillion of assets going to go? And then on top of that, what would happen to the financial derivatives and everything else related to that? But again, this is all following in line with being political uncertainty, and this is that whole impeachment zone I've been talking about. But this is crazy, and this is what I said today. The fact that all of this is coming up today, again, on top of it, this has been one of the most pivotal weeks, and this piece of news isn't light. It's now, we've even discussed it. You know, you could go back and forth. We've talked about this in the past with the trade war and everything else, how China they could tariff us, but whoop-de-doo, if you want to leave tariffs out of this now, instead of taking it to the workers and the farmers and in general people who are focused on employment, this is taking the fight to Wall Street to a degree. And again, this uncertainty, I don't care what you believe politically, it doesn't matter. Wall Street itself, we are our own religion, group, doctrine, whatever you want to call it. Wall Street does not like this uncertainty. And this is going to be a problem. But now, even with this whole trade war, who's going to bear the cost of this next escalation? Sure, the farmers could do this. No, they're going to go straight after Wall Street now. It's not going to be, okay, we'll go after the pork farmers or the soybeans or this and that. You know, imagine some people would scoff at that if you're a trader, like, oh, good thing that doesn't affect me. I don't trade pork farms. Is that a thing? But you're going to be more inclined to say, well, if we delist U.S. companies or if we delist Chinese companies, what is China going to do? And now some people have already talked about it. They said the nuclear option would be China dumping treasuries. I don't know if that'll happen, but we will see. But in general, this is going to be a big move. This is outlining the next steps here for the trade talks that are going to be beginning on October 10th. Monday is the last day of September, so we still got one more trading day in September. Then October comes along the way. But if you see how we're set up is very, very interesting. And this is what caused the drop today. But what I'm saying, back to what's getting interesting here, is we're back around these August 5th, August 7th levels almost. It's leading up to it, but we dropped the same amount that we did in 2 days. We've done that so far in about 6 or 7 trading days. So it's operating a little differently. That's why the strategy is a little different. And again, keep that in mind with what we're going to be playing and how to utilize those strategies. But that's why the stock market dropped. This is going to be something to watch. And now if you want something, we're going to cover the watch list. So make sure you guys are on that for the weekend. on Sunday when we have that. But here's the next big thing to watch. This is what I was saying the other day, and this kind of creeped me out because this is now a divergence a lot of people have missed. The Chinese yuan is weakening. It's weaker than where we were August 5th, that extreme low, and this is what caused it. It's weaker than the August 23rd when we tested lows but quickly bounced right after. The fact is, this is a critical zone, and if this keeps creeping up, watch Sunday night. Wherever China fixes this, that could be that direct message to Wall Street and finances and who they give it to and how that plays out. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope you had a fun weekend today. It was a fun week so far. Hopefully you guys are ready. We're smart. Again, it doesn't matter if you made money or lose money. At least you learned something. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you guys are paying attention. But we got a lot. Our work is cut out for us, and I'm really, really excited on this. This is leading into a lot of this stuff with econ and how this is going to play out. And you guys are seeing the benefits. You know, staying up to date with this type of news and interpreting it is important. So source that information. Post it. We love you. The code loves you. Be safe. Be hydrated. Go read your Bible. We love y'all. Peace out. Let's go!